Hi everyone, welcome back to WHU TV, live on all social media platforms pretty much. My name is John, your host, as you can see down here. Hope you're all doing well. Long time no see, and to be honest with you, it's been quite nice to have this bit of a break. It's not been that much of a break, but it's quite nice to have the break nonetheless. As always, guys, this video is sponsored by the channel sponsor 3retro.com. Please click the link in the description below for these guys up here. Or here even. One of these days I'll get it right up here. We can purchase some really nice retro gear, guys. Not just West Ham. Any purchases made through the link in the description. It doesn't have to be confined to West Ham. You can buy England stuff if you want. Even if you're not a West Ham supporter for that matter, you can go out and buy other things in there as well. So guys, have a look, have a goozy. You'll really enjoy the stuff in there, and of course anything you buy from there will help to go to improve the channel. So again, a lot of things have happened in the last 7 days. As always, guys, let's have a look to see who's about. We've got some new subscribers, of course, so welcome. Thank you very much for joining. It's always nice to have some new subscribers. We are 17 subscribers away from getting to 1700. So if you're new round here, or you haven't already done so, please do subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to get to know when new content's going up. A lot of you aren't subscribed over the last 4 weeks. It's close to 60%. So nearly 2/3 of you guys that are watching this content aren't subscribed. So if you're enjoying it, then by all means, please do hit the subscribe button. And as I said, just whack it, and we'll go well into the 2000s. So by all means, please do so. Please do subscribe, and of course anybody watching on Facebook as well, if you're liking it, please follow the page, and also, well, please like the page I should say, and also please, those who are watching on Periscope, please do follow the account there as well. So let's have a look to see. So Andy Miles, good evening. JP, I hope you're good. I am, mate. I hope you're alright as well. Rick, good evening, Geese. Hope you're alright as well. Tracy, welcome. New face. Nice to see a new face. Andy Walsh, hello, mate. Good to see you. Hope you're alright. Kieran, hello, geezer. 4 o'clock in the morning and he's still yawning. Morning all. JJ says, evening, young John. My grey hairs are getting more and more frequent, I'm afraid, mate. So far from being young, but thank you very much for that. Okay, so let's crack straight onto it. A little bit of news that isn't West Ham related, of course, because obviously there's a lot of things going on. And hello, Baz. Hope you're doing all right, Gazer. Yeah, there's a 4-week circuit breaker lockdown going on in Northern Ireland from Friday, if I remember correctly, and Labour MP Keir Starmer has requested that we have a similar thing go over here in England. So if you're not aware of what this is basically over in Northern Ireland. They're looking to shut the pubs again, looking to close restaurants, close schools, basically just to just for about a month period of time, just to make sure that everybody, nobody's spreading the virus and everything like that. So, so basically, there's an article here. So Labour Party leader Keir Starmer has called for a 2 to 3 week circuit break in England to help address the spread of COVID-19. Professor Keith Neal, Emeritus Professor of the Epidemiology of Infectious Diseases at the University of Nottingham, said not closing schools is irrelevant as it will be half term. Home working is not appropriate and there is no reason for that to change. Stopping people going on holidays to self-contained holiday accommodation does not alter transmission dynamics, as the household will just be meeting with the same people in the same household. Seaside areas, which are already at the top of the scale of for deprivation, will simply be hit hard. And if it is 3 weeks, children will miss more education when the reality is very little spread between children is occurring in schools. Agreed. Closing pubs where distancing can enforce may well lead to increases in house parties, which are far more risky as people flout the guidance, something that is probably already occurring. Seating plans in restaurants properly applied lead to substantially reduced risk. Large numbers of people, both old and young, have suffered serious mental health issues by not being able to meet up with other people. I'm one of them. It's been a real struggle. This degree of isolation is not allowed in prisons under human rights legislation. Blah 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 blah. It basically just goes on to say that it's not a good thing to have this lockdown again. And to a degree, I can understand it. But at the end of the day, when people aren't washing their hands, aren't washing their face, aren't even washing their feet for that matter, because you've still got paws on your feet if you're walking around barefoot in your own place. Bearing in mind, you take your shoes off. If you I know some people that like to walk around bare feet, and sometimes they like to have the trainers on, so you're bringing in contaminants from the outside. But as I say, at the end of the day, if nobody's doing things properly, then this will be the reason why. This would be the reason why people are trying to try and get things done again. Because at the end of the day, we still should be doing our part. We're far from back to normal yet. I know a lot of people are adjusting to it and everything, but yeah, it's just. Anyway, so Baz says, good mate, good, thanks mate. Yeah, I'm good, thank you mate. Jazz, long time no see mate. Hope you're all right. Andy Walsh is good as well. Good evening, Gary. Hope you're all right, fella. Ken, welcome back. Good to see you again. Gary says, did you get the letter from the club? What was that about? No, I didn't. I haven't got anything from the club yet, mate. So you'll have to fill me in on that one. James says, they are pushing for it here in Essex. It's a joke, not needed yet, especially when people live alone. Agreed, James. We're in the same county, fella. So yeah, I mean, slightly different things. It's slightly different parts of Essex, but yeah, I get the logic on both sides. I really, really do get the logic on both sides, because even though the testing numbers are going up, the infection rate is going up as a result of it. It's the ratios are still staying about 10%. With new cases per day, give or take, out of how many people are being tested per day. So it's totally understandable that they're going to try and push it in there at some point. Jazz says, was just saying they are looking forward to seeing us at some point and thanking us for renewing. Well, they can save themselves the 25p to post it, as far as I'm concerned. James says, to be honest, interacting on streams like this is quite helpful. It is, yeah, it is. Andy says, I can't see anything else happening, JP, apart from another lockdown. Kent says, what do you think of the 10% club cash offer? We'll talk about that in a little while, mate. We did talk about that last week, but we'll talk about that. And Gary says nearly 90% renewal rate. Methinks not. It was, what was it, 88% if I remember correctly. Now they didn't confirm to anybody, because I saw that I saw the statement that went up on the website, West Ham's website. They didn't say to anybody out of that how many people were taking the option of option 1, like I've done, option 2, like a few people have done, option 3, like quite a few people have done. They won't class that. They'll just deem it, as they always do, season ticket holders. They won't deem it as season ticket holders that want to go, or season ticket holders that don't want to be going but want to keep their seat. Understandable. But yeah, I agree with you, Gary, mate. It's not. Kent says he's high risk of COVID, been out for a handful of times in 6 months. I can see another full lockdown coming. It is, mate. That's what I'm saying. It's totally going to happen, unfortunately. Now, of course, guys, in just over half an hour, England play Denmark tonight. So I just wanted to see what you guys were thinking about Declan Rice's performance on Sunday, because I watched the game, and I must admit, I think he's getting better for England. I really, really do think he's getting a lot better. He seems to be sitting in quite well with the players and everything. This is. I do genuinely think he's getting better for England. I really, really do. I like his work rate. He hardly put a foot wrong. I can't remember him making any mistakes on Sunday. Good pass rate, and as I say, I know a lot of people are jumping on the bandwagon because as a team, England beat Belgium quite. I wouldn't say comfortably, because it wasn't comfortable watching that at all. There's still errors in defence, which, obviously Kieran Dyer has to hold his hand up, especially for that penalty. What the hell was he doing against Lukaku? What was he doing? I hope he makes that same mistake on Sunday. But yeah, James has got it spot on. He grew into the game as it went on. Totally, mate. Completely. Kieran says, man of the match for him. Kent says, very good second half. Dex plays better with Phillips. Yes, he does. And that's the funny thing. Everyone's saying, oh, who's the better player? Leeds is Phillips or West Ham's Rice. And it just shows they're just as good as each other to the way they link up together. So, yeah. Where else we'll see? Let's go back to see a couple of other comments. Sorry, I've already read that. Kieran says, we're doing well here in Queensland, so feel sorry for you guys. Good, I'm glad to hear it, Kieran. I'm really glad to hear it. I mean, it's very, very, very difficult because my new girlfriend, we've been together about 2 or 3 weeks now. She's going over to Belarus. Ideally going over to Belarus this weekend to see her mum, which means when she comes back in a few weeks' time, she's gonna have to self-isolate for 14 days, just to make sure. So it'd be interesting out of that. Ian, welcome, mate. Good to, I think it's been a while since you've been, but I've seen you before. Is that the deal has to be completed by half 12 on Friday for Benrahma to be able to play on Sunday? We will again, Ian. We will talk about that in a little while. Gary says, did you see the picture of Wenger show the audience was packed and can't work it out? Yeah, it's just money, mate. It's ridiculous. I did see it though. Whatever stadium, whatever arena it was. I did notice there were some spacings, but not hardly any. So it's ridiculous. Jazz says, I don't understand why we're not signing both King and Benrahma. Prices due to some teams being relegated and in the Championship are good. Callum Wilson was a steal at 20 million and Fraser's on a free. Yaz, we'll talk about that in a little while, mate. We'll, as you know, mate, we break into the conversations to get it, because try and get the numbers up so everyone's got a chance to talk about the main points. But yeah, and so Gary, this, again, we will touch on that in a little while. So guys, just play along with the conversation for the minute. And it says, I've been working throughout the entire thing, not even checking our temperatures now, yet nobody is wearing masks and there's no social distancing either. Well, it depends on where you are and whatnot, but in general, yes, mate. Yeah, you're totally right on that. Right, so this is the thing. You know me, guys. I try and keep things in a consistent time period, breaking it down day by day what was being discussed. But this broke earlier today. And quite frankly, this was something that was going to be coming. Now, we all know about the stuff that was going on in January last year with when we played Liverpool at home, and one of our supporters in the the West Stand. Is it the West Stand? Where are I? Just never remember. The corporate stand, shall we say, shouting racial abuse at Mo Salah. He is now it's been confirmed this morning that he's been banned from football games for 3 years after admitting racially abusing Mohamed Salah. The actual quote on it here was, after speaking after the conviction, the Mets' Andy Sheldon said the force was grateful for the support of West Ham for their commitment to eradicating this type of behaviour. He said, we do not and will not tolerate hate crime of any kind in football matches, and we will take action against those who are found to have committed these kind of crimes during games. We ask anyone who sees or hears this type of behaviour to speak to the stewards or police. Blah, blah, blah. And then it just goes off about the same sort of thing about the kick it out and the BME stuff. Now, this is the thing. And James is literally about to say what I was about to say. The problem is a small number of fans give football fans a bad name, so we will always be always be the last back. Yeah, agreed. At the end of the day, they're going to use this as an excuse not to get us in for a little while. Everybody knows my stance on this stuff. There's absolutely no reason for any abuse under any circumstances. It's not funny. It's not banter. It's abuse, quite frankly. And if people aren't smart enough to realise what's what, then yeah, at the end of the day, he deserves everything that he gets, quite frankly, and everyone else who does exactly the same thing deserves everything that they get. Because the quicker we rule out the facts of ignorance from people not realising that this isn't the 1960s anymore. As much as my fashion and my music taste is still based in the 60s, this isn't the 60s anymore. It's not acceptable to give and treat anybody with any level of prejudice under any circumstances. Doesn't matter what the colour is, white, black, yellow, you name it. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we are all people. We all still bleed the same colour. We all still have the same organs. We all have the same thoughts, and therefore we should be treating each other as equals, and not disrespecting each other as a result of it. Kent says what we're going to talk about in the next thing is, have you had your Newcastle refund yet, John? Kent, no. I phoned the club up today. I was given nothing but a fob off, quite frankly. I know there's been people have been saying on their tweet and saying that it's taken 10 working days for the payment to be processed, but as a result, as I say, I phoned up the club and registered a complaint with them, because it's just not relevant in any shape or form. Technically, because their website says that they will issue refunds immediately for those who haven't opted for the club cash offer. It's out there to say that they would issue an immediate refund. I was told that they didn't process the refund yet. Yet when I argued with him about why not, he said, "Well, we have. It's just going to take a few days for your bank to clear it." I said, "Well, where's my email confirmation saying that you've processed the refund? It's a statutory thing by law that you have to be doing." I was getting blagged left, right, and centre. They are bullshitting their way out of this. The club. If I don't get a phone call back from them by lunchtime tomorrow, I'm straight on the blower to them again, saying what the hell's going on. I've registered a complaint. Where's my proof that you're refunding the payment? If the money comes in at some point tomorrow, because banks can take 3 to 5 working days. Tomorrow will be the 3rd working day, so it's the very, very minimum time that it will take. But at the end of the day, they have to prove that they've made the refund. They have to do it. I'm still waiting for my receipt for my bloody season ticket. But, it's just... And this is a combination of things. This is what I was saying the other week about the miracle. We have to be treated like people. We have to be treated like supporters by the club. It's as simple as that. Once that happens, then I'll be going back as a season ticket holder. But until that happens, this is my last season. But so yeah, it's so technically they are in breach of their own terms. They really, really are. Now, let's have a look to see what else is saying. I won't show up some of those comments because it's not. We will be talking about the potential signings coming in soon, guys. As the people that have been watching this channel for quite a while, I normally do that around about the halfway mark, so we're about 11 minutes off. So let's have a look to see what people are saying about at the minute. Ian, not gonna mention anything about that yet. As I said, Jordan says predictions for Sunday. Wait and see on Friday, because the preview will be up for the game. So keep an eye out for that, mate. Where are we? Kent says, I opted for club cash. Is that an end of season job, John? Well, the thing is, mate, is the fact that they... I understand the reasons why you're doing it. Totally get it. They would be given that extra 10% back per game. So I wouldn't be at all surprised if they put it on at the end of the season. Kent, has it gone onto your club? Has it gone onto your account yet? In your club cash? If not, if you haven't checked over the last couple of days, please do so now while you're watching it. So let us know if yours has actually gone through yet. Gary says they are giving us more interest than they are taking, which is surprising. Gary, you'll never see that money. This is why I didn't take the club cash. Is you'll never see that extra whatever amount they're going to give you at the end of the season per game. You're just never going to see it. You're not going to see it because they want you to spend it in the club shop. That's it. You're never going to get to see that money. And as a result of that, mate, that's the reason why I didn't take it. Richie, hello my peeps. JP, all good with the cat. Just come back from the vets. Good, Richie. I'm glad, mate. Because we were talking about that earlier today. Andy says everything done by the club is a shower of shite. Totally agreed. Gary says not in his club cash. Jazz says he had to cancel one of his season tickets. I need to swap an adult ticket to young adult. They said they can't, and rather the seat is unsold. They can't sell any more season tickets this season. Agreed, mate. But at the same time, I can't downgrade and keep ticket. I managed to move 8 rows forward anyway. Yeah, it's all bollocks, mate. It really is. And he says, when I received my email and it said they didn't have my bank details because I took out finance option, I paid it on my card. That's cheeky, because they said that people that were paying via finance, so mate, talk to them quickly. Don't just absolutely just get them to haul them over the calls. Once you phone them up, they'll take action straight away. They won't respond to an email. Get on the blower to them. Use your mobile, because you should have a free calls for 03 numbers. So get straight on that. James Gooding says, and that 10% they give doesn't even cut into their earnings. So it's money for old rope. Agreed. Totally agree with you there, fella. Totally agree with you. Right. Now, one of the things that have been pissing a lot of people off is this, which I will put up on the screen for you guys now. If you haven't already seen it, I'm sure you have. I'm sure, but I don't think most of you have actually seen the actual statement from the Premier League about it. So I'll just make it a little bit better viewing for you. So all fixtures until the end of October will continue to be made available for supporters to watch live in the United Kingdom. The Premier League today, this was as of Friday. The Premier League today confirmed all fixtures until the end of October will continue to be made available for fans to watch live in the United Kingdom. Under these new arrangements, the current live match selections will remain in place and will be broadcast as normal. In addition, the 5 matches per round not already selected will be made available to supporters on a pay-per-view basis, accessed via BT Sport box office and Sky Sports box office platforms. Clubs today agreed this interim solution to enable all fans to continue to watch their teams live. That's incorrect, because we know that out of the 20 teams within the Premier League, Leicester didn't agree to that. So that's a contradictory status. Clubs, it does say clubs technically, because it is plural. Because obviously I haven't said all clubs agreed, but anyway, the Premier League has worked closely with Sky Sports and BT, blah, 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 blah. The agreement has been regularly reviewed in consultation with clubs and in line with any decisions made by government regarding the return of spectators to stadiums. Football is not the same without supporters at matches, yet you're trying to fleece every single penny you can out of us. The Premier League and our clubs remain committed to the safe return of fans as soon as possible. Well, fair enough. That side of it, fine. But, yeah, thanks, Kent. No club cash. That's exactly as I thought. Jazz said, my club cash went into kids' account even though I paid for them. Had to call and sort out. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, mate. You have to absolutely rinse them on this. Now, this is what I'm saying about the this pay-per-view, right? From my point of view, this doesn't change. It's extortionate. I don't agree with it, but I watch the games. I watch the games on Sky with the match day pass via Now TV, because I don't have Sky Sports, and I do the match pass with BT. But looking at the bigger picture, was it $14.95 or $14.99 depending on certain things, charging you to watch a 3 o'clock kickoff is bullshit. It's absolute bullshit as far as I'm concerned. This now, if you have Sky Sports and BT, I can see why it's a total liberty. Totally agree. Totally 100% agree, because you're paying. Let's say, for example, you wanted to watch every single 3 o'clock kickoff, right? So you're paying at £15 a pop, right? So, like for example, if there was there would probably be 2 games. 2 or 3 games on, whatever. So let's say, for argument's sake, there's a 4-week period where you have the lunchtime kickoff, you have the evening kickoffs and the late kickoffs, and then you have the 3 o'clock kickoffs, right? For example, Manchester Derby will very likely be on a pay-per-view basis, and Leeds Liverpool, etc., etc. Do you know what I mean? The big games that, and I can't remember who said it. I think it might have been Ryan on West Ham Fan TV, or Paul from 3 Hammers. One of the two said, "Say goodbye to Soccer Sunday." Totally agree, because they will be reserving the big games for us to pay out for. And as I say, that I absolutely can't stand. I absolutely agree with every single person that's taken umbrage with this, because I'm completely agreeing with them. As I say, from my point of view, I'm not affected by it, but it doesn't mean that it's not a good thing in any shape or form. Because it isn't a good thing that we have this. We have no rights at all as consumers when it comes to football. All they want is more money out of us, completely more money out of us. Where's the match day passes from Sky and BT via the club for the home games that our season ticket holders are supposed to be getting a refund from? It's pathetic. It is absolutely pathetic. There's a lot of talk about having the prices of a fiver. You're still paying what? You're paying what? 30 quid a month for BT, 50, 60 quid a month for Sky, on top of your packages already. So, you're looking at least 120 quid a month, give or take, maybe, depending on your packages, of course. But I know when I had Virgin and Sky Sports, it was an unbelievable amount of money. And that was a long, long time ago. It was before BT Sport came in. It's just, you're looking at at least a oneer every month, at least. And then to have, where are we? And then to have 60 quid on top of that, fuck right off. Bugger that. Never gonna happen. I absolutely refuse to pay per view. I mean, I don't think I've got the option anyway. So any 3 o'clock kickoff that is on that pay per view, the watch alongs, I will be using my usual streaming service. So, the commentary will be a minute and a half late, or whatever the time difference is, but it's just pathetic. It is just absolutely pathetic. To see what you guys are talking about, your thoughts on this. James says all this is going to do is cause a rise in piracy. It costs way too much. £5 is acceptable for me, or a season ticket where you get a subscription for one club. Andy says this is a joke. They need a Netflix version of the Premier League. You have it in every other country. They've got NBC have got a match pass, Premier League pass. The majority of the Asian continent have got a Premier League pass. As somebody said on the 3 Hammers earlier today, they're saying that in Australia you can pay, like, was it $10 for watch all the Champions League or the Europa Leagues and all that sort of stuff, and all the Premier League games for $10 a month. That's like what, 5-6 quid a month here. It's ridiculous. It's just stupid. Gary says the EFL charged £10. They couldn't undercut them. The lower leagues need to be. Need the more. Hang on. The EFL charged £10. They couldn't undercut them. The lower couldn't undercut the lower leagues. Need the money more than we do. I'm afraid. That's Gary, where you're going with it, isn't it, son? But yeah, it's 100% agreed. I mean, even with that £10 access that we had, it was £5 going to West Ham and £5 going to the opposition. See what this. Richie says, I pay 50 quid a year for all sports channels all around the world in full HD. You and me both, sunshine. All of the American leagues have a league subscription service. I can see the Prem doing this away from BT and Sky soon. Yep, agreed, mate. That's what I've just been saying about. Jazz says, JP, issue is my mates are not season ticket holders for their clubs and they wanted the freebie all game bandwagon running on. I told them that is unfair as we season ticket holders looked after first. Some people always want more and more. Agreed, mate. I mean, at the end of the day, man, you're summing up David Sullivan right there, son. You really, really are. And he says season ticket holders should get a free pass for home games at least. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, At least we'd be able to get and watch it. I mean, that's what they did to, that's what they did sometimes towards the end of last season. Gave us a couple of, was it one Sky Sports pass and one BT Daily pass. It's just it's completely stupid. And he says I won't be paying to watch games on pay-per-view. Matthew Newbuff, he said he's in South Africa. Welcome, mate. All games live on Supersport, no pay-per-view. I get you. You guys up there are giving the most support year in, year out, and they do this to you. Agreed. Jordan says, I'd rather watch the highlights of Match of the Day. Completely. Gary says, if you were paying £50 to go to football, then it's a good deal, but there's always ways to watch free. Totally. James Gooden says, would you pay 30 quid a month if it was just West Ham and you got all the games? 100%. Totally reliable broadcast. Be it through the internet. Full HD. Option not to have any crowd sounds. Like you used to be able to, not just to hear the crowd and not hear the commentators like the Sky do every now and again for the FA Cup games. Then yeah, 100% I would take that. I'd bite your hand off for that, sunshine. Really, really would, because that's how it should be. That's how it should be. We should be in line with the rest of the world. We really should, especially under these circumstances. Kieran says, my subscription here in Oz gives me every Premier League game, Champions League, and internationals for £10 a month. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, mate. That's, it's $20, I'm guessing, $18, $19 a month in that case, Kieran. But yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about, mate. Exactly what I'm talking about. Now, the other piss take that came up earlier, well, over the last few days, was Project Big Picture. Now, for those that don't know about this, I'm sure everybody does, but I'm sure there might be a few people that don't know the full ins and outs of it. Again, just seeing what people are talking about on Twitter rather than actually knowing the background of it. The Project Big Picture proposals are as follows. The Premier League cut from 20 to 18 clubs, with the Championship, League One and League Two each retaining 24 teams. The bottom two teams in the Premier League are relegated automatically, with the 16th placed team joining in the championship playoffs. So basically, one last ditch attempt to keep themselves in the Premier League. That I don't agree. I don't agree. I certainly don't agree with reducing the league. Don't agree with that at all. Now I know that before you guys say it, I know that this was rebuked earlier today. They were saying that was it late last night, early this morning, that they were this was being rebuked. Now they also wanted to scrap the League Cup and Community Shield straight away. Disagree. I know the Community Shield is the official start of the Premier League. I know it's a glorified friendly, blah blah blah, but but yeah, to get rid of the League Cup, because there's no financial value in it. That's all they care about. It's money, money, money. Parachute payments to be scrapped, but £250 million rescue fund to be made available immediately to the EFL, and 25% of all future TV deals. That's the only part of it that I agree with. That we should be helping out the EFL clubs to keep themselves afloat. £100 million paid to the FA to make up for lost revenue. Again, I agree with that. 9 clubs to be given special voting rights on certain issues based on their long time in the Premier League. And now this is what makes me laugh. This is what absolutely makes me laugh, is the fact that it's basically the top 6 and 3 other clubs, which West Ham is one of them, because of how long we've been in the Premier League. We've only been in the Premier League 9 years. Yeah, all right, we came back the first time of asking after getting relegated in 2011, but still, it's just crazy. It's lip service, for lack of a better way of putting it. And David Sullivan came out straight away. I mean, he went blabbing to the BBC, saying that he wouldn't want to. It came out as a Hammers insider, but it's blatantly David Sullivan. We all know it's David Sullivan. It's ridiculous. but yeah, it's just. It just does my head in. But this is the Premier League statement, so we'll all read through this again together before I come back into the chat. All right, so this is the statement. What's it look like? Can you read that? I'll just zoom in a little bit more for you, just to be on the safe side, especially with Mr. Walsh and his dodgy eyes. Right, so all 20 Premier League clubs today unanimously agreed that Project Big Picture will not be endorsed or pursued by the Premier League or the FA. Further, Premier League shareholders agreed to work together as a 20-club collective on a strategic plan for the future structures and financing of English football, consulting with all stakeholders to ensure a vibrant, competitive and sustainable football pyramid. So that right there, that one sentence basically says it's like the government coming out saying we're going to scrap council tax. That's right, we're going to scrap the poll tax, make a couple of changes, and you're going to be paying council tax instead, which is exactly what happened in the mid-80s, and this is exactly what they're doing. So it says the open and transparent process. Clubs will work collaboratively in an open and transparent process, focusing on competition structure, calendar, governance, and financial sustainability. So money mentioned twice. The project has the full support of the FA and will include engagement with all relevant stakeholders, including fans, government, and of course the EFL. Rescue package for Leagues 1 and 2. Also at today's meeting, it was agreed to make available a rescue package which aims to ensure that the League 1 and League 2 clubs will not go out of business as a result of the financial impact of COVID-19 and be able to complete the 2021 season. Should the season? Well, there could be a possibility the season stops again, but we'll find out that at some other point. League 1 and League 2 clubs rely more heavily on matchday revenue and have far fewer resources at their disposal than Champions League or Premier League clubs, yet they charge less for their replica shirts. And are therefore more at risk, especially at a time when fans are excluded from attending matches. This offer will consist of grants and interest-free loans totalling a further £50 million on top of the £27.2 million solidarity payments already advanced to the League 1 and 2 this year, making a total of £77.2 million. And it's not enough. It's not enough. Talks on Championship finances. Discussions will also continue with the EFL regarding Championship clubs' financial needs. This addresses government concerns about the lower leagues clubs' financial fragility. Football is not the same, but blah blah blah. The same bollocks as they came out with previously. So yeah, it's a great thing. It really is a good thing. But at the same point, there's not enough. That's all they care about is money. That's all they care about. That's all they care about. So let's see what you guys are saying back in the league. Kent says Sky was showing all midweek EFL games on Red Button last year. They could do a season ticket for a specific club very easy. Yeah, that's it's the iFollow service if I remember correctly. James says, cue the league requesting a separation from the EFL with no relegation next, or a breakaway league with the supposed Big Six playing in a Europa Super League. Yeah, that's been talked about, James, for the last few years. But I agree with you. Gary says, I'd like the idea that you could stay up through the playoffs, but it would take away the last day of the season must-win games. It would. Agreed. Kent says the other three are Everton, Southampton, and Everton. So Everton, Southampton, West Ham. I think you mean there, mate. Kent, it's not like you to double your words up. And he says if it went, I think it is, went ahead, the Big Six shouldn't enter the Cups. Problem solved. But Man City won it 3 years in a row. Pep loves a trophy. Yeah, I agree, mate. Gary says TV channels don't want the EFL. Can't get my head around why BBC, ITV, etc. have never gone down the EFL road. Because people, the viewing figures for the EFL isn't as big as the Premier League. That's the reason why, unfortunately. And he says it's just a rich get richer scheme. Agreed. James says I say make both the cups the way to qualify for the Champions League, add the magic back in the cups and split the revenue raised between the lower league clubs. Yeah, Absolutely, completely agree with you there, mate. It's a great thinking. Win the FA Cup, you get into the Champions League, and get to win the League Cup. You get into Europa, if I remember correctly, unless that thing's changed as well now, but it used to be. Kent says we've been in the Premier League 23 of 28 years, I think. Well, a little bit different than that, mate, because is this the 26th year of the Premier League, I think. So, but I know what you mean. It's the majority of it. And so, yeah, he's corrected himself. Southampton, Everton, West Ham, other clubs. Jazz says our forefathers had a better understanding of the game. Totally agree with you there, mate. There was nothing wrong with the old 22 club league, 2 League Cup, FA Cup replays, UEFA Cup. It's just, yeah, I agree, mate. It's, as I say, it's all they just care about money. They don't care about the sport. Only good thing modern football changed was 3 points for a win from 2, and agreed. Also, I like the idea of playoff match between three of the fourth and the bottom versus the championship team. Yeah, but it would just like you're saying, mate. It's just going to rock the boat too much. That's the problem. James says bring back the Anglo-Italian Cup for the championship for championship clubs to have a European competition to raise money. Agreed. Jazz says money that ends up in agents' pockets should be banned, and an agent should be banned. Yeah, completely agree. Jazz also says I just about remember the first ever live games at ITV, Wolves versus Scum Spurs, maybe 83, 84. It's not that far off it, mate. You're not far off. FA Cup winners should be well awarded. Agreed. Andy said agents should get a fixed fee. Jazz say 50k. 100%, mate. We would have much better deals going on if they had a flat rate fee. Jordan says, what, and have Wigan in the Champions League? Well, they've been in the Championship for, 5 years now? So it's completely irrelevant. I know why you're going with it, because Wigan won the FA Cup and got relegated, blah, 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 blah. But, yeah. Now, right, so, as we're coming up to the quarter of an hour to go bit, signings. Let's talk about signings. Right, so, Craig Dawson. Guys, what are your thoughts on this? Me personally, I was a bit sarcastic with him with the announcement when it came out the other day that yeah, it's just I retweeted the West Ham announcement saying #welcome relegator, because let's not beat around the bush here. Craig Dawson was with West Brom, got relegated, went to Watford on loan, got relegated, and now he's come to us. So this smells badly of Sullivan trying to shut us and Moyes up by saying, you wanted a centre-back, I've got you a centre-back. In the same way that Jordan Hugill was the token striker in January. You wanted a striker to make sure we stayed up, I've bought you a striker. Completely contradicting what he said on TalkSport, where he's only bringing in players that Moyes wants. It's just the fact that it's absolutely ridiculous. The reason why we've got Craig Dawson, and I agree with who was talking about this, is that that's the only logic behind it, was the fact that we got him from Watford on loan with the apparent possibly $2 million price tag to pay for whatever the circumstances was. So basically there's no compensation between Watford and West Ham for Jeremy Ngakia. It's as simple as that. Dawson is potentially hardly ever going to play. He'll only play if there's an injury to any of the centre back players. Dawson can play right back, so I can see the thinking behind it, a versatility player. But no, but I didn't want him, but we've got him. So, and as a result, we've got to support the bloke, and just see how he gets on. I hope he proves all of us wrong. That he actually turns out to be quite a good centre back. But it's a plaster over a gaping wound, quite frankly. It doesn't really help that much. Let's see what Jazz says. Did anyone read Ngaki's first interview since his move, saying he can see a direct route into first team and development with Watford? Confused fellow as he was in the first team at West Ham. Jazz, as much as I agree with you on that, he only got into the first team because Fredericks was injured, and also that Ben Johnson was injured. He left the club. We talked about it in the summer. He left the club because he wasn't prepared to be third or fourth choice. That's why. So I respect the bloke, and his statements have come out since then. There was no way he would if Fredericks was fit, if Johnson was fit, there was no way he was getting into the side. Absolutely no way. But it doesn't matter. He's gone. We have to move on from that. Gary says we have better youth defenders. They have lost the plot. It's Sullivan, guys. That's what I'm saying, man. It's Sullivan. That's all Sullivan is doing. He's saying it's as I said. It was a token signing. That's it. That's all it is. Lawrence says Dawson alone. Surprise, 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 surprise. James Gooding says Dawson isn't an exciting signing, but he has been brought here to be cover, and alone isn't the worst option. Saying that, we did loan Roger the relegated Johnson one year. We did, yeah. I can't remember where we got him from, but I'm sure Rex will tell us. I'm sure Kent will tell us in a little while. Kieran says just listening to Watford fans is worrying, but it is only backup. Yeah, this is the thing. Knees Up Mother Brown did a really, really good article quoting the fans of Watford. But as I say, I reckon he'll only play a handful of games with us, absolute handful of games with us. And I mean, Watford want 2 million for him. That's how little they need him. That's how little they need him. Wolves Johnson, thank you. Relegated from Wolves, yeah. And he says, I'm annoyed with the Dawson signing that this just shows we don't want to give youth a chance. Well, it's like I said, Andy, as much as I agree with you, man, I'm saying this is Sullivan. This is Sullivan. He doesn't want youth to come through because he wants to sell them. It's as simple as that. Kent says, if he pulls the shirt on, I'll back him. Dawson, anybody who does I back. Yeah, agreed. Completely agree with you, mate. That's what I'm saying. When he plays, support him. Simple as that. Support him, and then hopefully we stay up and he goes. James Kent, mate, you are the fountain of all football knowledge. He is completely. He's very, very quick on the Google as well. I'm thinking, but anyway, I won't give his secrets away too much. But no, he is. Kent Hammers is the oracle, and sign up to his page on Facebook, guys, as well, for that matter. Even sign up to my page as well, the channel page. Right, Said Ben Rama. It was originally planned that his medical was going to happen today, but looks like it's going to happen tomorrow, so might be all right with him playing against Spurs on Sunday if everything goes through. Rumours coming out. It's very, very difficult. There's a lot of contradictory reports coming out here about signing on fees, that the fee being paid and everything. Some places are saying it's 25 million plus 5 million of add-ons. Some places are saying it's 18 million plus add-ons going up to 25 million. I know you don't Google, mate. I'm just joking. Apparently there's again, certain places are saying that there's an £8 million sell-on clause in there. So. But yeah, it'd be so it could be announced Friday. If it's announced Friday morning, then sorry, I need to readjust myself. We need to if it's announced on Friday morning, fair play. Am I looking forward to seeing him? Yes, because he'll be a West Ham fan. That's right, West Ham player, I should say. Looking forward to seeing what he can do. Don't really know too much about him. So I did do a bit of Googling, looking on Transfer Market, So he's predominantly a left wing. So yes, I agree with what Paul said from Three Hammers, the Three Hammers podcast earlier today, that he's a like for like for Anderson, who we've just gone out. But I said this when we sold Ngakia. When we sold Grady Diangana, and when the links to Said Benrahma and Josh King and a couple of others were coming up. You know, it just reeks of stupidity, because we sell a player for £18 million who's got massive prospects in the football game. You know, I was very impressed with Diangana when he played for us under Pellegrini. I've been very impressed with it from what I saw of his highlights against West Brom last season, and I've been very impressed with him again this season so far. I know we're only 4 games into the season, but it just made absolutely no sense to do that. And to go out and potentially be tripling his wages as a result and paying whatever the amounts are in instalments, it makes absolutely no sense. Absolutely no sense whatsoever. It really doesn't. And I said that before. Go back and look at it when me and Marshy talked about it. Was it 5 weeks ago? It just makes absolutely no bloody sense. But as I say, he can play on the left, but he can also play on the right, and he can play a centre forward, and he's a right-footed player. So again, I see the thinking behind it. But guys, I did a bit of a comparison between him and Josh King. All right. So Josh King, he's predominantly a second striker, according to transfermarket.co.uk. But you can play on the left wing and as the centre forward, aka the number 10. And again, right-footed player. Soufal is a right-footed player as well, for that matter. So we're bringing in a lot of right-footed players at the minute. That's quite interesting. Josh King had 12 days of back trouble and 67 days of addictive problems between the 2011 and 2012 period. Thigh strain of 9 days in October 2017. Muscular fibre tear of 37 days between December 19 and January this year. Said Benrahma's injury list doesn't exist. He has had no injuries in the same way that Souček had no injuries before he came to us. And as a result of that, from that point, guys, you know that class ability over stats. I know Josh King, fantastic player, or not to sound too much like Redknapp, but he's a terrific player, terrific player, one of the best, can easily play for England, but his injury record, that worries me. Said Benrahma, no injury record. So from that side of things, I can see the thinking behind it, but again, this is a Sullivan style signing because he's a flair player. I hope, from what I understand, he's a flair player. I'm not making any judgment on him because he hasn't signed yet, and I'm not going to make any judgment even when he does sign. I'm going to give him the full season that he deserves before so I need to reserve judgment on that, as I always do with all the players. I always say I'm never gonna say, oh no, he's shit after a couple of games, because you have to give him time. Brentford are a difficult side to do deals with. There was an interesting article in the Football League world that apparently their sources say that Moyes isn't bothered. If he gets King or he gets Benrahma, he isn't bothered. So that sounds to me straight away that they're both Sullivan targets. Simple as. James says, what worries me with Benrahma is not his football skill, but is all this disagreement over money. It makes him feel like a mega merc, but you never know. He could end up genuinely getting behind the badge. You never know, mate. You never know. He had his loyal. He's a cheeky cunt. I'm not gonna. I'm going to say it. He's a cheeky cunt because he negotiated his loyalty bonus for negotiated his loyalty bonus with Brentford. Went out and did his international duty, and is coming back and having a medical with us. He's a cheeky fucker, in the same way that Arnautovic was the same thing. Wanted his loyalty bonus before he went over to Japan, Japan and all that. Sorry, China, I should say, and all that sort of stuff. So, as Jazz said earlier, mate, you know, the love of football that we all know's totally disappeared. Totally disappeared. Where are we? Jazz says King fits into our mould, hard-working and versatile. Ben Rami looks like a Nani to me. Fair enough, mate. I'd say I can reserve judgment on it, but because I haven't seen him. King is a better fit for what Moyes normally wants, in my humble opinion. I like Ben Rama. We should be signing them both if we need them. So both, we do need them. Yep. I totally see that point. 100%. It's not going to happen, mate, but I totally see where you're coming from. Gary says there, sort house signings, some fees for him, some fees for the club, if you know what I mean. Totally agreed. James says, just feel like we get more from humble players like the Czech lads. We'll see. Kent says Benrahma at Brentford ended up at centre forward a fair bit at Brentford. Bloody hell, man! How many times do you put Brentford in this? Benrahma at Brentford ended up at centre forward a fair bit at Brentford because of their fluid formation for Brentford. Is he Brentford? And he says, I still think in the Championship they've got some gems. Hope we get another one before the window closes. Andy, I can't see it, man. I really, really can't see it. But you never know. And Kieran says Sullivan wants this to be his new Payet. Agreed. Totally agreed. Guy says that in the description below there's a link to Josh Cullen's letter to the fans on the official website. It's a lovely read. It really it's a bit long, but it's a lovely read. So go check that out. But as I say, because normally I would read everything out to you guys, but no, it's just too far. It's just too much. It's about 15 paragraphs, man. Lee says, hopefully he is Kieran. I'd love another Payet. Mark English, good evening. JP and the Sunshine Crew, just clocking in just as we're about to finish, as usual. James says, new game every time Kent says Brentford drink. Yeah, totally, man. Shots. Get your shots out, guys. Watch this back. But one last thing I do want to say before we wrap this up, because we're coming up to the hour mark now, is I just want to read out to you Craig Dawson's statement on the West Ham website. It says, I'm delighted to be here. I'm really looking forward to being back in the Premier League and working with the manager and group of lads. I'm really excited and looking ahead to the game at the weekend. I can't wait to get started and share my experience. We've got a lot of experienced lads here anyway, and to be joining this group of players is an exciting prospect, so I can't wait. It's a talented group, and I can add competition to the back line, so hopefully I can slot straight in with the lads and help them improve their game as well. Jesus Christ, talk about an ego. West Ham is obviously a massive club, and London Stadium is blah 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 blah. That's a corporate thing he's been told to say. I'm delighted to welcome, and then Moyes comes on and said, I'm delighted to welcome Craig to the club. He is a fantastic professional with proven quality and experience in the Premier League. It's no secret that we've been trying to add more quality to the squad in defensive positions, not only for the long term, but also to ensure we are well protected right now. And the opportunity to bring in Craig in on loan was an addition that will make the group stronger through this period. I know, blah 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 blah. Yeah. So yeah, signing the ego. Totally signing the ego. It says, I'm shocked how Tarkovsky didn't put a transfer request in. I'm not, mate. He doesn't want to come to London. He wants to stay in the north. So obviously that move to Leicester that everyone was panicking about didn't happen. Gary says, didn't he play under Pearce in the Olympic team? Yes, he did. He did, mate. Yeah, he was. He mentions it in his interview. Saying about how great the London Stadium was for being in Team GB, blah blah blah. But as I say, that's a lot of ego from the bloke there, and to a degree, I can understand why. I really can understand why. But guys, thank you very much for watching. We've had quite a nice number of viewers here tonight. Not a huge amount, but it's been great as always, and it's always nice to see people coming in. Even Mark turning up just as Last Orders is going. But Andy, well, both Andys, Gary, Kieran, Mark, James, Lee, Kent, Lawrence, Jordan. Thank you guys to everybody that's been engaged in the chat. You've been having a chat with each other over certain things while I've been talking about it. I love this. This is why I do this channel. Jordan's a new guy, so welcome, Jordan. Said, what time are you live tomorrow, John? Jordan, I'm not live tomorrow. I will be recording the preview for the Spurs game tomorrow, which will be exclusively live for the Patreons. So that's Rick and Andy, Miles, and also Wally World. If you're watching the replay of this, Wally. But that'll be available. That'll be available on Friday for everybody else on YouTube. So thank you very much for your time. Enjoy the rest of your evening, guys. If you're new around here, please do subscribe. If you want to support the channel on Patreon, please do so. All the links in the description to all the social media and details about the tiers of Patreon. But in the meantime, guys, thank you very much for your time, and hopefully we'll be able to do the live watch along on Sunday at 4:25 because the kickoff's at 4:30 on Sunday afternoon. So I hope to see you guys then. If I don't, hope to see you guys soon. Anyway, but look after yourselves, stay safe, and I'll see you very, very soon.